Hello everybody, it's Keith. Help support the Northeast scene and declare yourself a member today. Subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts or your podcast medium of choice. Rate us and leave a review. Every little bit helps. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. It has every podcast episode plus other exclusive content. Like and leave a comment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter at TheNEScene. Also, continue to write us at northeastscene@gmail.com. We want to share your experiences as well. And now, here's the show.
The fuck? You think I dream of coming to work up in this shit on a Sunday morning? Tell all my friends what a good job I got? I'm working to support a family, man. Pretend I ain't talking to you. Pretend like I ain't even on this earth. I know what you are. Now, I ain't stepping two, but I am a man. And you just clip that shit and act like you don't even know I'm there.
I don't.
I'm here. Look, I told you I wasn't stepping two. I ain't disrespecting you, son.
You want it to be one way.
What?
You want it to be one way.
Man, I don't
You want
know
it
what
to
you...
be one
Man,
way.
stop! Stop saying that.
What is the other way?
Hello everybody and welcome to the Northeast Scene Podcast. This is Keith.
And Tommy.
And we're back. And tonight's guest, Rishi Arora and Chris Gregory from Skyyisalright. It's a two-piece, 90s sounding shoegazy kind of band out of the UK. We spoke to Rishi before because he was on the show. He's a member of Signalhill, a band that we know and love. And Skyyisalright has a new single out now. Skyyisalright has a new single out, Mistress Pessimist. It's everywhere. It's on Bandcamp, Spotify, YouTube, Tommy, YouTube.
I know. That's where I listen to it.
So go check it out. It's really good. I'm excited for the LP. I'm excited to talk to the boys. It's going to be a good time. So here we are. Tommy, what's up with you?
Not much. I'm back in school full time. I got kids in front of me every day. I got kids on computers every day. Doing all right. Kind of, hate to say it, but I'm kind of limping my way towards the finish line right now. I can see that June 18th is rapidly approaching, and I'm ready to go.
That's right. You're a teacher, so you get the whole summer off.
Not the whole summer, but yeah, most of it. I'm off the rest of June, all of July, and the first 2 weeks of August.
That's the whole summer.
Well, if we're going by summer dates, summer doesn't really end until September 20th. But
I don't get 10 weeks off.
Do you also deal with 11 and 12-year-olds that are pissed as fuck that they have to be in school?
Well, I deal with the equivalent of 11 to 12-year-olds on a weekly basis, but that's a story for never.
Adult children, yeah.
Yes, that's what I'm dealing with. But things are going okay here. I moved my desk to a new room in the apartment. Huh? How about that?
How is it with does that really help with like changing your workspace, like changing what your outlook is on that? Does it really help you?
Today it didn't, but I'm hoping that it will. I'm trying to escape the never-ending barrage of noise from upstairs. In fact, right now I can hear chairs being dragged across the floor in the kitchen, and it went pretty good today. It's quieter over here, and by the window I can hear the birds chirping.
Yeah, see, I always like to work by a window so I can just look out. That's really nice.
Yeah, I get freaked out because now people walk by and they look in and see me working, and I get self-conscious. But it's okay. And I set up where the desk used to be in my living room. I set up my guitar and my pedal board and an amp. So I finally played guitar again for the first time in like over a year.
How was it?
It was, well, this is funny, but remember when we had Corey on from Glassing and he talked about DADGAD tuning?
Yeah.
I've been meaning to try it since we talked to him. and I tried it, and I didn't like it at all.
right, so
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to make anything sound good. I don't know if I did it right. Like, what am I doing wrong?
I'll send you a link. There's a really, really good tutorial. Somebody on YouTube. I forget his name, but basically he just says, like, look, if you want to play in DADGAD, these are the 4 basic patterns of the way you should have your fingers, and then you can kind of just slide around the guitar.
Okay, send me that.
Yeah,
That's
for
going to
sure.
be helpful.
It's super helpful, and it's very much one of those. If you just type in the tuning directly into YouTube, there's a lot of really cool people out there just kind of like giving you an idea of like the way they play with it. I will say this: it is a very, very popular tuning for Celtic music.
Yeah.
So be mindful, like when you click on it, like if someone has like a gnarly beard and like, you know, they're wearing like a tartan t-shirt, like don't click on that. Like that's not where you want to go with that.
Yeah. Well, I played, it was great. I'm going to learn a cover song and maybe I'll post that. So it's going to be good. But do you know what it's time for now, Tommy?
Oh no, current events?
Yes, that's right. It's time for the Pop Culture Minute with Keith and Tommy, where we discuss the hottest topics of today. Tommy, are you ready?
Sure. I'm so terrible with this stuff.
Well, Tommy,
I'll make an
Tommy,
attempt at it.
Tommy, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Part of the bid is that you never know anything I'm talking about.
I knew the Lil Nas X song. Remember that? I remember that one. I knew that one.
The Oscars just happened.
Okay.
Did you watch them?
No.
Me either. All right, let's look at some of the Best Picture nominees. Nomadland, never heard of it. The Trial of the Chicago 7, never heard of it. Minari, never heard of it. Promising Young Woman, never heard of it. Judas and the Black Messiah, never heard of it. Mank, never heard of it. Sound of Metal, now that I saw. Did you see that movie?
No.
It's good. It's about a dude in a heavy band, and he goes deaf.
I saw the previews for that.
Yeah.
He's the drummer in a band, and he slowly has that progressively degenerative hearing disease. Yes, I did see the previews for that, but I did not see that movie.
Yeah, I highly recommend it. And last but not least, The Father. Have you heard of any of these movies?
Just The Sound of Metal. No, that was the only one.
Okay. Yeah, same here. I don't watch movies or TV really anymore. Do you?
Actually, I watched a movie over the weekend, and I was really impressed with it. And it was somebody that won an Academy Award. Casey Affleck was in it. It's called Manchester by the Sea.
Oh, yeah. I wanted to see that, but I never got around to it. How was it?
Unbelievably depressing, but it's a fucking really good story, man. A really good story.
So I'll wait until I'm in a better mood to watch it.
That's one of those ones, if you're already kind of in a low funk or something like that, that's going to fucking drag you right down, bro. Great movie, though. Great movie. And here's the other thing. I don't know much about Casey Affleck. I've never seen him in a movie before. He was fucking awesome. He's really good. Like, totally believable as that character. There was no point in time in that movie where I was like, oh, that's over the top. Or like, oh, okay, that took me out. Like, fucking the whole time, like, you believe he's that dude. It's fucking awesome.
You know what movie I did watch?
What's that?
Mortal Kombat.
Oh, yeah, I never saw it. Because you have that HBO Max, right?
Yes. It was really good. I think it might be the first good video game movie I've ever seen.
I don't know if I've ever seen a video game movie.
Yeah, they're all bad. But the Mortal Kombat 2021 was good. It was entertaining. It was a nice action movie. They got the characters right. I think that's an untapped market for film, is video games. If they could make serious adaptions that are good, like they're doing with superhero movies, it could be absolutely epic.
Like a Final Fantasy.
Yes.
There you go.
I would kill for a Final Fantasy VII trilogy film adaptation.
Now, here's my question to you. Would you want it to be done in the animation style of Final Fantasy, or would you want it to be live action with real people?
Live action with real people, like how they did Lord of the Rings.
Fair enough. Okay.
All right, next topic. Pop star Demi Lovato was harassing a yogurt place on her Twitter. Her tweet said, finding it extremely hard to order froyo from the Big Chill when you have to walk past tons of sugar-free cookies, and other diet foods before you get to the counter. She wrote accusing the store of harmful messaging. And I think her beef was that she used to have an eating disorder or something like that. So walking by sugar-free products in the store is harmful to her. Your thoughts, Tommy?
Isn't that lady like an ex-heroin addict?
Yes.
They could have fucking stocked the shelves with needles. Get the fuck out of here. Fuck this lady.
You know, I'm going to be civil here because that's my role.
Is my role the curmudgeon? Is that what I am?
Yes.
Fuck. All right.
Yeah. Or for this bit, at least. Okay. Listen, I get what she's saying, but no. Like, you don't, because you may have suffered with an eating disorder at some point, that doesn't mean that you have to publicly blow up a small yogurt shop just because they're selling products. Like, I don't walk into bars and say, like, this is harmful to me and I want everyone to stop drinking. I don't go home to my parents' house and say, like, I want everyone to stop drinking. I don't tell anyone what to do. I control it from my end. If it's harmful to me, I don't go.
Yeah, have some self-control. I don't get that. Like, and the thing is that it's not incumbent upon a shop owner to be like, oh, like, as you're walking in, have you had any previous trauma? No? Okay, go ahead and walk in. Like, get the fuck out of here. That's so crazy. I think that's a thing I can't wrap my head around that, because, like, going to any corner store in Philly, it's like, just Little Debbie snack cakes and fucking, it's just garbage. Like, so I guess her beef is like she's going to buy something healthy, so she has to walk past stuff that's not healthy. Like,
is frozen yogurt healthy though?
0 calories.
Well,
no, I'm saying I'm from that Seinfeld episode.
Oh. Another round of strawberry for me and my friends.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
That's it? Okay, good.
That's it. That's been the Pop Culture Minute with Keith and Tommy. We hope you enjoyed it. I got no more topics. I don't know anything else that's going on. I'm stuck in the past, man.
I don't blame you. The past is pretty awesome.
Yeah, and I like the past.
Now, I was watching a movie with my daughters, and I was just like fascinated with it because it's like really beautifully like drawn and like, animated. It was their first movie I've seen in a long time where they didn't do like any like over the top like messaging, like, this is bad, you should not pay attention to this. Like, they watched the Lorax and I was like, oh my God, if I get hit in the head with a fucking environmental message one more time, I'm gonna fucking turn this off. But the movie was called Soul. It's about a jazz singer a jazz piano player who never really makes it big. He ends up becoming like a middle school band teacher. And then he gets his big break to play with this very famous saxophone player. And on his way home from the audition that he got, he dies. Well, he has a very traumatic injury and he goes into kind of purgatory. And it's about what happens to his soul and gets mixed up with somebody else. And it just
sounds complicated.
It's no. It's a Pixar movie, so it's like very, very easy to follow. It's intended for children, but
yeah.
It's the first movie I've seen in a while that I was like, I got kind of emotional at it. It was like really, really smartly done. It talked a lot about what it means to be a human and the human condition, and like sometimes things are awesome, and a lot of times things stink.
Oh, that I agree with. Yeah.
It's just like shit's terrible 99% of the time, but the 1% of the time it's fucking rad. It is fucking rad. So
things feel bad 99% of the time now. I guess I was due though, because things were really good for a long time. Like 2 years, I would say I was happy. That's a long run.
Have you ever been in the middle of happiness and go, when is this gonna come crashing?
Yeah, I got so comfortable that I thought I had it all figured out. I was like, oh yeah, like people just need to get in relationships and then they'll find happiness. Everyone just hasn't gotten to where I'm at yet. I know everything. I'm so happy. I figured it all out. This is, I was like getting, like, maybe I got a little too big for my britches there.
It's the symptom that we all fall into. I actually had a coworker not that long ago that was like lost a bunch of weight and like kept talking to me about like, hey, you want me to help like diet? I'm like, why? Have you looked at me? Like, do I look like I need? Like, it's like, do I look
You're
like I need to
built.
be on a diet? But my thing was like, immediately, I'm like, do I look like I need to be on a diet? And she was like, no, of course not. And I'm like, I don't understand. What do you need? She's like, well, I'm just talking about like, making a healthy choice. And it's like, it's one of these things that like you surpass something in terms of a goal that you wanted to get to, and
Mhm.
you're so elated about it that you just want to share it with other people. But sometimes your sharing comes across as preachiness.
Yeah, that's why people find something that works for them in their life and they think that's the answer for everybody. That's why I don't go too heavy on the, sobriety talk because like that's not for everybody and I don't want that to be my identity. Well, what I'm saying is I don't want to preach to people and I don't want anyone to preach to me. What do you think of that?
I think it's a phenomenal way to live your life. I think we talked about this a lot in the last episode. It's that free to choose, man. Choose your own destiny. Do what you want to do. I'm not going to fucking intervene, but if you ask me for help, you better believe I'm going to tell you what I think. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, I think it's that live and let live. If it's not bothering you, like, I had this conversation with my daughters not that far long ago, but we were in a store and they saw this lady stealing and they were like, we have to tell somebody that works here. And I was like, no, you don't. You do not have. I was like, did they steal it from you? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, so here's the thing. You don't know that lady's condition. You don't know if she's like hard up for money. Also, you don't know if like maybe she's like mentally ill. The other thing is maybe she doesn't have like one of those little shopping bags and she just put it in her purse for right now. So she's going to go up to the front register and pay for it. And they were like, oh, okay. And I'm like, if it doesn't concern you, don't make it your problem.
Yeah, my dad told me he used to steal the diabetic test strips for my older brother when he was young, and he didn't have the money to pay for them. They were like $30 a tube or something. We never had money. So he would take it and hide it in the laundry detergent or something like that. Imagine if someone narked him out and he got busted stealing diabetic test strips for his diabetic child. So I respect the fact that you're teaching your children not to be a snitch. Fuck corporations anyway.
Here's the other thing. Have a code. Like, just have something. Have something you conduct yourself with and fucking stick to it. Like, it's I don't get it. But, my thing is, I just wanted to make sure that they weren't going to be like, blurt out like, hey, I see that lady taking something. Like, mind your business.
All right. Well, now we're going to talk to Skyisalright. Enjoy. All right, folks. We're here now with Rishi Arora and Chris Gregory from Skyisalright. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so folks, in case you don't remember, Rishi has been on the show before. He is a member of post-rock outfit Signalhill, a band beloved by me and Tommy and many. And Chris, so you're a new guest to the show. This is exciting. How are you doing?
I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for having us. Honor and a privilege.
Hey, it's an honor for us too. So you're based out of Los Angeles, Chris?
Los Angeles, California.
Where in Los Angeles? Now, keep in mind, my geography is really bad. I know, like, Southern California and Northern California. Yeah, people will be like, oh, I live in the valley of the Kaluadad, like, Valley Mountain. And I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what any of...
Inland Empire. And I'm like, what? I don't know what the fuck. What? I went to Azusa High School. I'm like, what the fuck? I don't know what is that? Like, okay, is that like...
Kaludad sounds pretty good. I want to move there.
Yeah, I just came up with that on the spot. We're like geniuses with this shit. All right, Chris, we're ready for you to actually answer the question.
I live in Chinatown, which is right by Dodger Stadium.
Oh, cool.
Oh, okay. How do you guys... Rishi, you live in London, UK still, right?
Yes, yeah, correct.
And Chris lives in LA. How do you guys decide to start a band together? How does this work? And this is inspiring too, because I want to get back into playing music again. I want to learn how to do it, how you guys are doing it remotely. Clearly, there has to be some remote intervention here. So how does it all start?
Well, yeah, I think we've known each other for a really long time. Met in high school back in, like 1998, 99, something like that. Right, Chris?
Something like that.
But yeah, so we've been in a couple bands throughout the years. One was a high school band called Tony Chapman's Gentlemen's Club. And it's kind of like classic rock influence. And Chris is shredding on drums, and I was playing guitar. And I think we used to end every show like I was like playing guitar solos behind my back and biting at the strings and stuff. And I don't know, Chris, do you remember anything from those shows?
I mean, maybe we set stuff on fire. I can't be sure. Like basically like a high school version of Pantera, but
That sounds sick.
setting the cymbals on fire. I'm pretty sure we didn't do that, but it's something pretty cool.
Yeah, and then in college, like college years, Saved by the Bell college years, we're in a kind of like math rock type band called Cossack, and so yeah, we've kind of been in and out of bands over the years, and I think it was kind of just like I'd been working on some new ideas for songs, and just like I wonder if Chris would be down to do this, because Chris is already in like 5 bands or something like that, so maybe he'd want to be in another one, possibly. Yeah, so I sent him an email and was just like, "Hey, you want to be in another band?" And yeah, I think you replied. What'd you say, Chris?
Like anytime Rishi asks me to do anything music wise, I say yes. Just like Icelandic folk, sure, let's do it. Doesn't matter.
That's great power to wield, Rishi, because anytime I ask someone to do something, they say no or that'd be cool, which also means no.
See if we can pencil it in a couple of weeks. I'll get back to you.
Yeah.
If I ever say to you, my answer to anything is ever, yeah, let me get back to you on that. That's a hard no. That's my version of hard no.
Let's circle back in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Oh, so Chris, one of the things that just like looking up your guys' stuff on Bandcamp is, Chris, you were in a band called The Littlest Viking.
Yes.
I fucking love it. It's like, if you guys have not heard them, really smartly done math rock, but like chill, like very, very, let's just put it this way. It's not like Don Cab where you're going to end up with some like crazy distortion on stuff and heavy parts. Very melodic, very well done. And I think it's one of those things that like, as I'm watching it, I'm thinking to myself, like, you're a really, really good player. How did you, like, what influenced you when you were playing, like, to play that style? Because you do a lot of really intricate cymbal work that I was like watching it going like, holy fuck. Because you guys have a ton of YouTube stuff that's just you guys playing live.
Yeah. Well, thank you. You are too kind. But I mean, sometimes I feel like I do the most, and people have to tell me to rein it in.
Okay.
So it's a process of just like throwing everything at the wall and see what sticks, I guess.
Yeah.
So I was just gonna say, Chris has always been just like the master. Like he's a genius with drumming and fills and everything. And like I remember Tony Chapman shows like back in high school where we used to play like. The sound guys like at the venues would just be like staring at Chris, like just going off like on the drum set. So he's always like shredded from the beginning, you know. And then he went to Berklee School of Music too for drums. Right, Chris?
Wow.
So, like, so he knows a thing or two.
Dang, Chris, you have that's quite a pedigree, sir.
I try sometimes. Just unnecessary like double bass fills in like a classic rock band, just being stupid, and everyone else putting up with it. But it's fun. I like it. You guys are too kind.
You know, if classic rock had more double bass, I might listen to some of it.
Oh, you're missing out. There's so much good classic rock out there.
There's not, but I digress.
That's fair. Starts and ends at Blue Oyster Cult.
Now, Blue Oyster Cult is good. I don't know. Are they considered classic rock? I like them.
Dude.
I guess.
Yeah,
I'm into that. Yeah. So, Chris, let's get some of your origin story. Tell us how you discovered music growing up and kind of your trajectory, what you listened to, what you're listening to now. Give us the story.
Oh, wow. I mean, I guess growing up as a kid, it was all like oldies radio. Just focusing on like super catchy singles like "The Lion Sleeps Tonight," "Rockin' Robin," anything with a like immediate hook, I would be drawn to as like a kid, I guess. And then from there, just getting into in high school, a lot of shitty pop punk, a lot of Lagwagon, a lot of No Effects, a lot of Saves the Day, shit like that. And then kind of, I guess, growing up into the mathy stuff, Don Cab, as you mentioned, Lightning Bolt, Hella, any Zach Hill, John Theodore, Damien Shea project I would obsessively listen to and try to steal their.
And where do you fall now? What are you listening to now? Me, I'm all over the map. I'm listening to like Juice World and then like metal like Zayo and then a lot of lo-fi, chill, hip-hop beats. I'm all over the fucking map. How about you guys? What's our top 3 right now? Let's start with Chris.
Top 3 new bands or old bands? I mean,
Let's go with what you're listening to now.
Right now. Okay.
Yes.
The new Soft Kill record is amazing. I've listened to that quite a bit. Also, oh man, you're putting me on the spot right now.
Yeah, we do that.
I'm ready for it. A lot of like recently I've been listening to a lot of like queercore bands from the 80s. So like the Dicks, the Big Boys, MDC. So a lot of like classic punk, I guess.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then also like Human League and Jawbox, Janet Jackson.
Yes.
Just anything, basically.
What about you, Rishi? What are you working with these days?
To be honest, I think because I haven't been home, or like home as in, like Southern California, San Diego, LA.
Mm-hmm.
I've just kind of been listening to kind of just SoCal nostalgia tunes. Pinback for Life, pretty much. Been listening to that band since I was in high school and still listening to them. I think just yesterday, in fact, and No Knife as well, another like classic San Diego band. Still listening to them a lot these days. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I find myself listening to a lot less music these days because I always listened to music when I was walking somewhere, and I'm not doing that as much, since the whole world ended. However, being involved in a weekly music podcast, I'm discovering a lot of new bands, and I'm listening to more music, and things are opening up a little bit more now, so I'm getting out there and listening to some stuff. And yeah, one of my favorite thing is still discovering a new song that just instantly grabs you and you listen to it over and over again all week. That's the best thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of crazy how just like everything changed in terms, even just like listening to music changed in terms of having to, be stuck at home all year or whatever. Because I would do the same. I would commute and listen to podcasts or music and stuff regularly.
And that's done now. You know what I do now? I signed up for Twitch, and all week there's a Bob Ross Twitch channel. So I turn that on from like Friday morning till Sunday night, and I just watch Bob Ross paint all weekend. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Wait, what's Twitch?
That sounds amazing.
It's like a streamers network. It's mostly for like gamers. It's actually funny when Bob Ross finishes a painting, everyone types in like GG for good game.
Wait, is it cost money?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm in.
Yeah, check it out. There's a lot of retro video game speedrunners.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm into all that shit.
You got me there. All right.
Yeah, I watch Bob Ross do paintings. It's nice.
You can watch GoldenEye tournaments or whatever.
Yo, if they have that, I'm going to, for sure.
Yeah, talk about throwback.
My interest is peaked now. Yo, when GoldenEye, I was so good at GoldenEye, I would play people and the score would be like 30-0 because I had the respawn points memorized for certain maps.
For sure, and the stacks, for sure.
Yeah, so I would just run from respawn point to respawn point killing you, which is not fun at all.
It's not fun. I played against you. It wasn't fun. Like, as soon as I was respawn, you would go, like, you were like, you knew where I was. I was like, fuck, I don't even have a weapon, motherfucker. Yeah. Like, God.
Would you do Golden Gun, though, right? Like, you have to do Golden Gun. That's like the only way.
Golden Gun, yes. But Odd Job, the character Odd Job was outlawed. No one was allowed to use him. He's too short. You can't, yeah. It's cheap. It's a cheap move. So we've got the band Sky Is All Right now. When did this thing start to come together? Because Rishi, I know you've been working on this for a while. I think we were talking about this last year.
Yeah, exactly. So I think I sent that first email to you, Chris, I think back in like 2018, or it was like early 2018. And then we had a lot of back and forth. And I was like thinking back to that email string. It's so funny because like the email is literally, the subject line is like music project. And like the first email is like, yo, you want to be in a band? And then we basically just like sent demos back and forth. And it was one of those like Gmail strings where it was just like, everything was like stacking like one email on top of the other. So you had to scroll down like really far just to like do a reply, And I think we sent like over 100 emails on that string or something for like a year and a half, 2 years, just working on demos.
And how does that work? Like, do you play a guitar something and then send it off to Chris and then he'll put drums under it? How does that work?
I think what we've been trying to do, and we're still currently doing it this way for new songs, I'll kind of just work on a demo. I'll put all the guitars on there and like work through vocal melodies and lyrics and stuff as much as I can, and then send it over to Chris. And then, Chris will just throw down some fat beats, take it from there. Yeah. And we kind of just send it back and forth until it's done pretty much. Right, Chris?
Right. Same principle. Like I'll do the most and Rishi would be like, that's cool, but maybe do like half that. Maybe chill during the verse or whatever.
Sometimes Chris will do something and I'll be like, oh, I got to change my part to like match what he's doing. So there's a little bit of back and forth like that.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you guys record it? You got home setups, that type of deal?
Well,
Yeah.
we met in LA to record, for the demos. Yeah, we just do home recordings. But then to make the record, we met in LA at a studio to do it here. When was that, Rishi? Right before lockdown?
Yeah. Like I was out there February 2020. So yeah, literally like a month before all the craziness started.
So you recorded this thing pre-pandemic, the record I'm talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you've been sitting on it all this time?
It took a few months to mix. I think, basically from like March 2020 until maybe like August, September. So it took a while to kind of like fine tune everything, and then just kind of, in playing the long game for the release, like taking it easy, not trying to like rush to get it out. There's no reason to rush, I think. So.
Yeah, there isn't, because nothing's going on.
Yeah.
Right. Can't play shows. What else are you going to do?
So Rishi mentioned that you're in like 5 other bands. Are you still in 5 bands? And I guess they've all been sidelined by the lockdown?
Yeah, five-ish, let's say. We've all been writing songs because there's literally nothing else to do. 2 of the bands have albums coming out eventually. But that's all you can do is write songs and record them. So like one of my bands, we recorded maybe in December, and it was masks on the entire time, tracking with masks, socially distancing while you're recording. So that was an experience. But what else can you do? Live streams. I've done a couple of live streams.
Which band was that, Chris? The one that recorded?
That was Grey Moth. That's like a doom band.
So give us a rundown of what's coming out. We got Grey Moth, right?
Right. That'll have a full length. That's a doom album. Wizrobe. We recorded the Wizrobe album. That's another math rock band. We'll have a second. We have one album out. We'll have a second one eventually, whenever we get around to it. And then the other bands are just writing songs.
Chris has got like a crazy good like solo project too. Belted Sweater. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, you should tell him about that.
Yeah, let's hear about that.
So that's me. That's basically just me by myself. It's synths and shouting and live drums. I describe it as if Henry Rollins was an Erasure, but all the lyrics are about Grindr, and that's kind of what it is.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, it's fun. But that's another thing that I can just do by myself. That's what I've also been doing in lockdown, working on a second record, just because I get tired of playing video games and watching TV when I'm stuck in the house.
Oh man, same here. And we're going to talk about video games in a second because that's my thing. But I really want to get some kind of setup where I can just write music without other people, because I'm over other people. And, I put together a nice track. I can just fire it off to my friend to be like, hey, you want to put vocals over this? Or, hey, you want to put a guitar lick over this? That's going to be my goal for, I don't know, this year or next.
It's a very relaxing way of working. It's just like whenever you get around to it, do this, no pressure.
Yeah, that's kind of how I sold it. Skysalright to Chris too, I feel like, because it's like, yeah, just throw some drums on this. We'll see where it goes. I don't really know.
But the songs are so good. It was so easy for me. The drum parts write themselves because the songs are great.
Yes, and I've heard this single, Mistress Pessimist. It's great. And folks, if you haven't heard the single yet, check it out. It's on all platforms, Spotify, YouTube. And the record is coming out June 25th on Somewhere Cold Records. So look it up, check it out, get it.
Yeah, thanks, man.
So Chris, you're a gamer too?
Yes.
All right, so what are you playing right now? Me, I'm working on Last of Us 2.
Oh, that was a great game.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I don't even think I'm halfway through it. When you get to those really long stealth parts, I just get like dejected and give up for a while. I'm like too lazy to like sneak through and shoot everybody with arrows, so I don't know.
Right, you just want to run past and get to the next destroyed.
Yeah, and sometimes I do that, sometimes I don't. It just depends. I play a ton of Call of Duty, Warzone. That takes up most of my time. I'm doing some retro stuff, EverQuest, Quake, Doom, all kinds of stuff. What about you, Chris?
That's cool.
Those are all classics. During lockdown, I've gotten in. My bandmate Tad got me into the Soulsborne series, so I've been playing all the Souls games, and now I'm on the last one. Before I do, I'm doing Dark Souls 3 before I do Demon's Quest or Demon Souls for the PS5. But they're super hard and stupid. Sometimes I throw my controller at the screen, but I when you finally beat it, it's amazing.
It's so hard to picture you doing that. I don't think I can see that. It's funny.
Oh, my neighbors hear me all the time just saying, like, swearing loudly for no reason.
I'm surprised. You actually throw the controller at the screen?
I mean, it's a metaphorical throw. It's an emotional journey of throwing it in my mind.
Because I got nervous. I'm like, I don't want you to bust up your TV.
No, then how am I going to watch VHSs on my TV with the built-in VHS player anymore? So you don't make those anymore.
Yeah, like Warzone is so frustrating. I'll be playing with people and I'm sure my upstairs neighbors hear me in not so happy states pretty often. But thankfully I don't throw anything or like punch through the wall or anything like that.
Right. Then they're going to get the authorities involved.
Yeah, so I've got that going for me at least. Well, so when is the album come? The album is self-titled, right? Sky is All Right.
Yes, correct.
Okay, I've got that correct. That's good. And it comes out on June 25th.
Yes.
So what's the deal? Can we pre-order it? Can we get physical copies? How can we support you?
Yeah. So we have the pre-order up now. Our website, skyisalright.com, will redirect you to the Bandcamp pre-order page. And we have it on vinyl, digital, and CD as well, actually. And the vinyl options come, so it's like a white record, and the vinyl options come with like t-shirt bundles as well. So there's like a black t-shirt bundle, a mint green shirt, and a pink shirt bundle. Yeah, and we actually have our second single is releasing this Wednesday, the 5th of May. And then we'll have a third single on the way in a few more weeks, and then the full album releases on June 25th. So yeah, just a few more weeks away.
Awesome. So folks, by the time you hear this, that new single is going to be available, and we all need to listen to it together. What is the single called? Let's get that out there now so I don't fuck it up.
It's called Indigo Moon.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that. So Rishi, you're in 2 international bands now. Don't you think you're biting off more than you can chew here?
I don't know, man. I think I think I'm in a good spot though. Like, yeah. I mean, we'll see. We'll take it as it comes.
Chris, are you going to go out to the UK to play a gig?
Yeah, we've talked about it. Having shows in the US and the UK. I'm down whenever.
Yeah.
Wherever.
You know what? Yeah, now that I think about it, that's actually a brilliant move because Rishi, you can probably get gigs in the UK. And Chris is in 5 bands, so obviously he can get shows in LA.
That's true. Yes.
We got it all worked out.
Lula's Viking was you guys had a tour planned for the UK, right, Chris? Like early 2020 or like March 2020 that you had to cancel?
Yeah, it was literally like March or April 2020. So it became quickly apparent that was going to happen because of COVID. So maybe we can do, we had talked about like a joint tour. Sky's All Right and Little's Viking or something where we play shows together and share band members.
Could you play 2 sets in one night?
Yeah, for sure. I've done that before in like math and punk bands, and that was a terrible idea. But with these 2 bands, it shouldn't be a problem.
I'm thinking about the logistics of that, and I'm like, man, I have trouble just standing up in the morning. Fuck. Imagine playing 2 sets.
I think like logistically trying to switch between like straight punk and math rock in my head, it's like there's so much of a disconnect. I'd be like, okay, I need like 20 minutes by myself to kind of just get my brain around what I need to do next.
Like I need reflection time in the tour van.
Yeah.
Yo, I just got an idea. Math punk. Yo, we could start a whole new genre.
I'm here for it.
I'm down, yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to talk after the show. I'm going to get something going here.
Okay. We can start a new email string.
Oh yeah. Here's some ideas. And Tommy just emails you equations because he's a math teacher. These are the tabs. Tommy, so as a math teacher, you're just like, you have to like math rock, right?
No, I don't have to. 'Cause there's plenty of math rock that I've heard that I've been like, all right,
Yeah.
like I get it, but
I don't like it if it's like too math rock. You know what I mean? Like if it just sounds like a math rock band. Do you know what I'm saying? Like
obtuse for obtuseness sake.
Yeah. And Littlest Viking wasn't like that. It was like I really liked what you guys were doing, so props for that. But like I don't know, math rock is one of those things where I either just like it or don't. There's not usually an in between.
Yeah, I think my thing was I got into, I think the first record that I really spent a lot of time with was that first Ghosts and Vodka EP.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when I sat down with that, I was like, it's well thought out, but at the same time, it's not harsh enough that you can't listen to it. Like there's parts in there that are legitimate hooks. And I go, that's fucking really great. Like that's a really, really smartly done part. I lost interest in it where a lot of people were like, there was a band, and I saw them live a couple times and it was like, I liked their record, Terra Mellos, I think they were called.
Yeah.
And I saw them live and I was like, it was just them like playing with pedals on stage. Like a lot of it was just kind of like messing around with like sound. And I was like, all right, I think I checked out. I think I'm out on this.
Rishi, didn't you guys play a show with them at the Cocaine? I think I saw you guys with them.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly.
It was Signal Hill, right?
Wait, there was a venue
exactly.
called the Cocaine?
Yeah, in LA, it was called. Well, I think it was like the Jazz Cafe or something. But then like every time they put on like I don't know like DIY shows on the weekends, it'd be rebranded as the Cocaine or something like that. But yeah, we played with Terra Mellos there, and I remember that weren't they like running around and like jumping on like the couches and doing crazy stuff.
I think so. The proprietors are like, what are we getting ourselves into?
When there would be a show at the Cocaine, would there be cocaine available for attendees of the show?
Not that I was aware of.
Yeah.
I remember they would always like they would promote this drink. It was some like horchata drink, but like with alcohol. I forget what they called it, but yeah, I remember that was a big thing. But no, what you were saying, Tommy, about like Ghosts and Vodka and like being able to kind of like embed some of those like hooks every now and then. Yeah. I think I feel you in that, and in terms of like a lot of those bands and kind of like knowing when and where to do that and how long, and I don't know, just being able to kind of like weave that in.
There was the one song that always jumped out at me as like there was a lot of parts in it that I was like, like I'm not really into this. It was I was on the full length. It was called "Sex is Popular."
Yeah,
it had like a lot of parts that kind of meandered. It was a little slow, but there was a fucking hook in there that was so unbelievably good. In my head, I'm going like, hey, just make this song this. Just make this like 20-second part. Just loop this. And then I thought to myself, no, this is why I appreciate music like this, because it's like there's a Godspeed You Black Emperor track, and I forget the full name of it, but they never recorded it. It's from the Peel sessions. It's some guy's name. I think it's like Steven Deutsch or something like that. And it's this guy talking about like religious stuff in the background, and he's talking about angels and all these charts that he went through. And then it comes into this unbelievable riff that just slowly builds, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I always thought like, you know what a good metaphor for life. Like sometimes you have to sometimes you have to put up with some real shit or stuff that you don't want to listen to or stuff you don't want to deal with for just those perfect moments, of those moments when everything culminates and comes together. I was like, damn, that was so worth it. So when I listened to that track, I never like fast forward to the good part. I'm like, no, you have to listen to the whole 9 minutes of it.
Yeah.
This guy babbling about religious stuff.
Like a lot of F sharp, A sharp infinity is like that. It's like 20-minute songs, spoken word interludes. And then when you get to the meat of the song, it's more impactful that way.
Yeah, because if it's, if they're just giving you the good part over and over and that's it, the good part's not good. It's like too much.
Look, if I wanted to listen to hooks over and over again, I'd listen to Katy Perry. Like, I mean, that's what people listen to pop music for, right? Stephen Reich. That's the name of the song. It's like it's a 3-song thing that they recorded for Peel sessions. very, very good. There's only 2 versions of it out there, but somebody did a brilliant job on YouTube. They took both versions of it and kind of meshed them together, and took the best sounding audio from each clip and made a new clip out of it. It's fucking rad.
Chris, tell us about drumming at Berkeley. Do you get a good drummer resume and then you can, I don't know, open doors after accomplishing that? How has it positively affected your life?
Well, I should first mention that Rishi, when we were in high school, Rishi helped me with my audition tape. I think we played a bunch of like Yes and Led Zeppelin songs that I sent them on like a cassette or something stupid.
Yeah.
And so he helped me get in basically.
Yeah, we played The Fish by Yes, and then we
Yes,
played
it was the Fish.
and then the Ocean by Led Zeppelin, like that riff. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like the Odd Times ones.
That's what you're going for. Like, hey,
Yeah.
let me really like focus on my skills, because that opening to Ocean is like one of those ones that when you see it played, you're like, oh, that looks simple, and then you like really sit down and listen to it. You're like, that's really hard. There's a lot going on right there.
Where's that confounded bridge?
Well, you know what's funny? Actually, do you know who's really good at drums? And I didn't know this. You know that fucking stand-up comedian? God, he's from the 80s. Fucking, he's like an asshole, but like that's his whole gig. Andrew Dice Clay.
He's a drummer?
Dude, the Dice Man, like I saw him on...
Are you sure?
I'm almost positive it's like... No, I'm positive because I remember seeing it like within the last 10 years. There was a clip of him and he's like talking about it and he's like, no, because that's what they're doing wrong. Look, when you go like this, look, then and he plays it. I'm like, holy shit. Like fucking Dice can play drums well? Like, that's fucking nuts.
You have to send that to us.
Oh, I have to. I'll look it up. I'm a YouTube guy though, so I'll have to fucking YouTube it to you because I'm not gonna look for it now because I'll get too distracted.
You go down a Dice Man rabbit hole.
The rest of the interview is just like us listening to Tommy on YouTube.
I thought he was just one of those people that like he would get on the radio or he would get on whatever program he was on, and it was like, this guy is entertaining just because he's so crazy. He would tell all these stories. When he used to be on Stern, he would tell this story. Maybe it was Stern or Opie and Anthony. I forget which one it was. But he told this story about when he was touring, he used to go to stores and tell them like, hey, I'm Andrew Dice Clay. Because this was like the height of his popularity. He's fucking, selling out Madison Square Garden. And the one story that he was telling was the guy that used to do his security was this guy named Club Soda Kenny. And he was like an ex-New York, he was like a club, ex-New York police officer. And he's gigantic. And they went into this place. So it's him and his like handler, this dude Happy Face, and Club Soda Kenny. Like, yeah, everybody's got a fucking crazy nickname. So they go into this candy store and the guy's like, oh, hey, I love you. Can I get a couple tickets for tonight's show? And Dice is like, yeah, dude, I need to get some candy. I got a sweet tooth. And he's like, yeah, of course. So he hands him, like, they have these, like, it's like one of those self-serve candy places that's just like, those big buckets of candy and you use like a shovel to like put the candy in. And he's like literally just grabbing bags full of candy. And that's where like this whole thing came out where they use this. He used to use this in his one comedy routine was double bag it. Because they were putting so much candy in these bags, the bags were ripping. So they would just double bag every single bag they were putting in so they could fucking like have that much more candy. And the guy's like literally watching like for two $35 tickets, probably like $1,000 worth of candy walk out the fucking front door. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Doesn't it seem odd that he would go to a candy store?
Of all the things, you would think he would go get like the leather jacket and cigarette store. Like, do they have one of those? That's where it should be.
Like what, did he need to eat some spree or something like before he went on stage?
Not sure, but
He seems weird.
I think he's like a big, he's also a big thief. Like he also talks a lot about how he steals stuff. So
yeah, he's like a degenerate gambler too. He would bet on blackjack a lot. And there's a Stern bit where he gets into a big fight with Artie over a payout for a comedy gig.
Oh, get out.
It's classic. But listen, we digress.
Yeah.
So we were talking about Chris drumming for Berkeley. Does that get you into any band? Like, do you show them your resume and they're like, "All right, you're in"?
Well, it's like a double-edged sword. Sometimes that's kind of the joke. Is sometimes it can help. Sometimes you don't even tell people that you went there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You kind of do it on a case-by-case basis. If you're trying to get like session work and stuff, then for sure. If you're trying to like join a DIY band, then maybe.
That makes perfect sense because if I mean, I've only been in DIY bands, and if the guy showed up and was like, "I went to Berkeley," I'd be like, "There's the fucking door. Go at it, like get out of here."
Exactly. And I like both. So
Yeah.
it played by ear, I guess.
Yeah, but if he was just an amazing drummer, I'd be like, "All right, you're in." Well, who am I kidding? It's so hard to find a drummer. I'd just take him no matter what, especially if he's, especially if he's great, which you are, Chris. Like you're probably in high demand, right?
I mean, I try.
5 bands, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you get a
The
lot of
trick-
offers.
Yeah, but the trick is to not use a rack system. Then you're golden.
Ah, as in like not have the drums on a rack.
Yeah, that's like the metal tubes where you have like 45 toms, like Phil Collins or Neil Peart kind of system.
Yeah.
You don't need that.
Exactly. That's the key.
The dude from Further Seems Forever, he was like one of the best drummers. I think he only had like 3 drums or something.
Yeah.
Like he had a really minimal set.
Yeah. I that's how I roll. Drum wise, setup wise. Playing wise is a different story, but setup wise, yes.
I heard that Stuart Copeland only had a huge drum set because he hated Sting so much. You didn't want to see him like just dancing around on stage every single night.
That's great. So I just have like 85 octobans, so I can't see Sting.
Yeah, just 4 sets of rototoms, like right in front of your like field of vision.
Exactly. A set of chimes.
So tired of this guy.
I would be like a real prima donna. I would have like velvet curtains around my drum set, and I'd be like, no one can look at me. It ruins my art form.
Yo, if there's ever a band that you should check out, and it's not like my cup of tea, but there was a band Stuart Copeland was in after the Police called Oysterhead. It was really,
Trey
really
Anastasio.
Yes. Yeah, it's Les Claypool, Trey Anastasio, and Stuart Copeland. It's really, really good. Like it's definitely like you kind of need to be a musician to appreciate a lot of it, but like at the same time it hits all the right kind of parts of like what I'm looking for with music. It's just not something I'd be like, yeah, let me go put that on. Like it's just something if I like think about it, I'm like, oh yeah, I haven't heard that in a while. I'll go back and play it.
I don't know, man. I hear Trey Anastasio, and I'm already checked out.
Dude, yeah, I never liked Fish, but a friend of mine from college gave me a thing that was, I think it was live from Bonnaroo, and it's him playing a
Vacuum cleaner?
No, but did they do that?
Yeah.
Oh
man.
well,
It's corny.
they did. It's a song called "The In-Law Josie Wales." And it's a really just great, it's a singular guitar piece. There's nothing else. It's just no singing. It's just him playing guitar, and it's beautiful. It's absolutely gorgeous.
You know, I saw Fish before.
I went to a Fish concert. I never made it inside. I went to the parking lot.
Yeah, I went to the parking. You hear these legendary stories of the parking lots at Fish shows, and I went, and no one would sell me anything. I think they thought I was a cop or something.
Yeah, you're not on the ins. Do you know where the best, like those best parking lot shows were, like around our area? That band Disco Biscuits. If you went to Disco Biscuits, you could if you were like, hey, do you guys have? They'd be like, I have 5 MEO AMT. How much a dose? I'd be like, what? But I don't know what that is. I have to look that up. Hold on a second. What? Like, you guys are way like you guys are like chemists. What are you doing following Disco Biscuits? What the fuck?
That's what chemists do.
Apparently.
Or home chemists, at least. So let's see. What else is going on? Rishi. Now, Signal Hill put out a split with North End in 2020, right?
Yes. Yeah, we did.
That was exciting. Let's talk about that a little bit. How are any plans for any gigs in the future? Like, what's going on?
Yeah, so we actually had to cancel a tour as well back right when the pandemic started back in March 2020, right? So yeah, we had plans to play here in the UK, and then also we were going to play a few string of shows in the Northeast. Like we had Brooklyn booked and a couple other places, Philly, actually with North End. So I think that was why we decided to do the split, because we had to cancel that tour, and we're just kind of like, well, you know what? Let's just work on this split together. I think that was basically it. The one thing I was excited about with the split was kind of like the artwork. It's kind of like this like line art kind of globe thing, and it has these like hot spots like colored like red and blue for kind of like all of our locations like on the globe or whatever. And I was pretty happy with how the whole thing turned out.
I like that. Who makes the artwork?
I generally do a lot of all the Signal Hill stuff. But this one with the North End split, it was a cool kind of like collab. Like North End kind of suggested the idea. Russ from North End kind of had this like vision in his mind, and he was just like, I want to try doing this. And so I kind of just like whipped it up, and so yeah, it was cool, kind of like collab.
I love that, and I love when someone besides me comes up with a cool idea, and it's like actually a good idea, because then I don't have to think of anything. If someone else is like, "Hey, let's do this," and I don't hate it, I'm like, "Yes, I'm in."
Sold.
Yes.
Yeah, sounds good.
What else is going on with Signal Hill? Any future plans, future releases, future shows, discussions, anything going on?
Yeah, I mean, we eventually want to reschedule those tours, right? So, I mean, hopefully 2022, UK will do something. And we actually have a reissue album coming out just in a couple months in July as well. It's basically like a vinyl, like a double LP of all of our EPs because we never released those on vinyl. So basically the Signal Hill self-titled EP that came out in 2007, I think.
Yes.
And then the Distance one that came out in, I think that was like 2010.
2010.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. So those, and then also it'll have some like B-sides, like four like B-side rarity types of tracks, all on a double LP. So yeah, we're pretty excited about that. And like got them like remastered, and the EP, like the original EP, we got it. The mix is kind of like updated, so they sound like super fresh. So excited to have that out pretty soon too.
Well, I'm excited to hear it. Those two EPs are absolute classics. And then we've got some B-side stuff in there that I probably haven't heard before, so I'm excited. Tommy actually turned me on to Signal Hill all these years ago. The 2007 EP. That was the first thing I heard. Thanks, Tommy.
Yeah, thanks,
You're
Tommy.
welcome. And actually, I didn't, you know, it's funny. I didn't even find that on my own. A friend of mine I played lacrosse with found it. My friend Chris Riley, yeah.
Yeah, he's a big post-rock head.
Oh, yeah. That's his like go-to thing is like, he's like, Keith, he has that same idea with like you and I, where like we sit down and go like, I want to find something new. And it's that hunt for finding something. The thing is that like, you know, like Chris and I both have kind of like, you know, with careers and family and all that stuff, we've kind of put it by the wayside. And like, it's just one of those things that I rely on you now, because like Keith will just send me stuff and I'll go, good, I found something amazing. Actually, nice, Keith found something amazing.
No, man, you can take credit. I do it all the time. Yeah. Chris, of all your bands, do you have a favorite one? Let's talk about it on the show right now.
It's okay. They're not. My bandmates are not going to listen to me talk, so it's fine.
I'm just kidding. I wouldn't put you on the spot like that.
I can tune out real quick if you want.
So, Chris, do you just play music, or do you have like survival gigs? What's your story?
No, I have a day job doing accounting, and it's been remote for this past year, which is kind of nice. So I just make spreadsheets all day and play the drums all night, I guess.
Chris, are you a Excel or Google Sheets person?
Excel, definitely.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, any legitimate company is going to be using Excel. I've never even heard of Google Sheets.
It's not good. It doesn't. It's as people talk about with software programs, it's clunky. It's very clunky. It doesn't. It does not work well, and it's not intuitive. And on top of that, I've gotten so used to, especially with like making spreadsheets for like students and like, you know, just being able to like plug the formulas in very quickly to get the results I want. And I'm like, okay, what's the class average on this? Okay, okay, cool, 94.6, cool. Like it spits out the information I want very quickly. But yeah, actually, Chris, I had a question about when you're at Berkeley. Are you around, like, are you surrounded by people that are percussion people, or do they kind of intermingle you intentionally to be in classes with people that are, you know, of all different instruments?
Oh, for sure. You're intermingled all the time.
Okay.
The only time you're percussion only is when you're in a percussion class. And even then, sometimes the other instrumentalists like to take like, you know, like African hand percussion or Latin percussion or anything, just to broaden the horizon. So you could be around all different types of musicians all the time, which is kind of cool.
That's really cool, because that exposure. And then my other question was, when you have classes, how many people are, I mean, I'm sure they vary, but like, what do you have like one-on-one time with a professor, or do you just work specifically like, okay, here's a small group, like we do small group instruction?
It's both. You have an assigned one-on-one instructor every semester, and then you can also have to take a certain amount of group where it's like anywhere from like 5 to 10 people in a class on a specific, like brushes, double bass, or whatever, a specific subject. So it's all of the above.
In the double bass class, did they put on Slayer or something?
I mean, that's a lot of what it was. It was honestly a lot of doing rudiments with your feet instead, and a lot of it was. This is actually what kind of turned me off to double bass because I was really into it in high school, but I kind of got away from it. Is that they wanted you to keep the head off the beater and like kind of pull it back, and in order to do that, you have to have like work your core muscles. So it's basically like you're exercising as you're playing metal, and I was not about that life.
you know who is, and this is one of those things that I always thought with like double bass. I was a huge like it's just speed metal, black metal, like faster the better. All right, these guys are playing at 310 BPM. This is it. This is as fast. When I heard Pantera in like 6th or 7th grade, I heard Vinnie Paul doing those like they're almost like rolls that he does. Like he keeps I keep thinking of the double bass part from I think it was 5 Minutes Alone, and he has this whole section where do you remember that show Tommy Lee Goes to College? And it was the drummer from Motley Crue, Tommy Lee, went back to college to like take college classes.
Vaguely, I do. Yes.
Well, one of the sections was him meeting with Vinnie Paul, and he was like showing him, "Hey, this is how you play this part." And like Tommy Lee was like struggling so bad with it. Like he was just like, "I don't get it. How do you do that? How do you move so fluidly from like quarter notes to eighth notes to 16ths, and then move right into a section that's 32nd notes?" And he's like, "Tommy, you got to practice." He just like looks him dead in the face, like, "Yeah, you got to practice this stuff." And it's like, oh yeah, this guy's been spending the last 30 years just partying his ass off. Like
for sure, Vinnie Paul is so good. It's definitely underrated. I mean, obviously, Pantera their records are great, but you have to not look too finely on their legacy.
No.
Specifically, Phil Anselmo being super racist.
Yeah.
So I have mixed feelings when it comes to them. But as far as just the drum parts, they're great.
Yeah. Well, Keith and I have had this conversation many a times about like if you meet an adult that is wearing a Pantera shirt, run away.
That's fair.
Like run. Because they honestly, they're in my head. I'm going like, look, I had a Pantera shirt when I was in 7th grade, and it was awesome, and I loved it. And then I got older and realized the people that were still into Pantera at 24 were scary as fuck. Like,
right. They like the Confederate flag on Dimebag's guitar. They're not turned off by it.
Oh no! And then they are also the same type of people that will like. When you're like, "Hey, where'd you get that tattoo?" "I did it myself." And you're like, "All right."
Yeah, for sure.
The best drumming, Meshuggah. That guy plays the guitar with his feet on the double bass. This random video popped up on YouTube before, and there's like this famous drum instructor watching Meshuggah play Bleed or Bled or whatever the song is. And
Bleed.
He's like commenting on the drumming, and I thought that was pretty interesting. Like, if there was no double bass, it'd be so easy to drum for Meshuggah.
Oh yeah,
it's so crazy. It's like a puzzle, and I didn't know this until I saw them live. That a lot of their songs are in 4 because they headbang a straight 4/4, and they just super syncopate over like a 2 and 4 backbeat. And I didn't realize that until I saw them, and it was like a light bulb went off in my head. I was like, oh shit, this is even cooler that it's straight ahead and you don't even know it.
Yeah, and it's that idea that I remember when I heard the first thing I heard from Meshuggah was that Contradictions Collapse EP, and I remember being like, I've never heard anything like this. Keith, it's the one song that you used to call the alarm clock song.
Oh yeah, the alarm clock metal song. Yeah,
yes. But that was my first real exposure to like polyrhythms, and I was like, oh my god, I don't even know what's happening right now. Because like you could easily tap out the parts on your finger, like you can just go, okay, you can do that. But like when you realize like he's doing so many other things while at the same time keeping a completely different time signature with his hands, you're like, oh my God. Like this
Right,
is
and
fucking,
it changes all the time.
Yeah.
and that's it's hard to keep track of it. It's just they're like improving together.
I read something that the guitar player, I don't know if this is true or if I'm even getting it right, but the guitar player like worked out this song, and it took the drummer like almost a year to learn the song. And I believe it if it's true, because listen to that stuff.
I believe it.
Yeah. Like just memorizing the different changes and everything alone would, I mean, those guys are like aliens. They're in a league of their own.
My a friend of mine used to call them like robot metal. It was like someone programmed a bunch of robots to play metal. It's like, fuck, that's actually that seems pretty accurate, man.
Well, let's talk business here, gentlemen. So hopefully we're gonna have some shows lined up, right? Maybe even a Signal Hill / Littlest Viking tour, or a Signal Hill / Sky Is All Right tour, right? Nothing set in stone yet, but we're in some talks.
Yeah, we're working out details, so we'll have something to share soon, I think.
That's good. And we've got the self-titled Sky Is All Right record coming out on June 25th. So, folks, we're going to go to the band's Bandcamp, and we're going to order it because we want to support the band, and they're good. I mean, come on. You guys agree, right?
I agree. I'll go with it.
I mean, we're biased, but yes.
We've got the single Mistress Pessimist out right now. We're going to listen to that again and again. And by the time this podcast drops, we'll have a new single out.
Indigo Moon.
So we're going to listen to that.
We're doing it. We did it.
There you go.
Yeah, man. Every day, every week, we're doing it. We're getting it done. So, Chris, how does it work? Like, you're an accountant, but you also go on tour. How does that work? Like, can you only go on tour for a week or two at a time?
Well, no. So I actually had practice for the pandemic in that when I would go on tour before, I would work remote from the van whenever I could get service from my phone. So my boss was totally cool. I can just go out for a month and work from the road. So when the pandemic hit, I already had processes in place.
Yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, I could conceivably work from the road if I could get service and have power to the laptop. No one would know where I am, you know?
Right. You just respond to your emails. Nobody cares. That's all you got to do.
Do you do any client-facing stuff?
No. So that's part of why I could do it, is that it's all internal.
Okay. Cool. I'm on like a lot of client calls and internal calls, so I guess that wouldn't work. They'd see me in a van. They'd be like, where are you? What's going on?
Why do I hear rock music in the background?
I taught my math class one day from my shower upstairs.
Wait, what?
Yeah. So
isn't that illegal?
No, not like all right. So I was standing in the shower. The kids actually, I told them at the end of class, I was like, hey, I've been in my shower the whole time. They're like, you're where? So, you know how the back wall of your shower is, well, at least the shower we have on the second floor is like, it's like the same material as like whiteboard. So
I think so.
I just set up my laptop on on a stool, and then I put put a Rubbermaid tote on top of that, and I put my laptop on top of it, and I taught like I was teaching like normal. I just stood in the bathtub and I did all the equations on the shower wall.
Why?
Because because we had the whiteboard downstairs, and I was typically teaching from my basement. And what happened was the baby ripped the whiteboard down. Oh, not ripped it, but she knocked over the one thing, and it messed up the whole whiteboard and had a big scratch in it. And I couldn't use it anymore, so I had to go out and get a new one. But I couldn't get to. They sell them at Home Depot. You can just go buy it. They're like $14. But I had to go to Home Depot to get one. But I still had one more class to teach that day, so I just taught it. I was like in my head, I'm like, where can I do this? And I don't want to work on like a tiny whiteboard and keep showing them like one problem and then having to erase it and be like, okay, so you're on line 7 of this 8-step equation, like, and being like ruining the work. So I was just like, I'll just do it upstairs in the shower. It actually came. My wife found somebody doing it on Instagram, I think, and it was like teacher hacks, and it was like, if you don't have a whiteboard, you can teach from your shower. Just use the bathroom mirror, or use this. And I was like, oh shit, I'm just gonna set it up in the bathroom upstairs. And I taught an entire hour and a half long class about linear equations from my bathroom.
That is a pretty good idea, actually.
It worked. Here's my thing. In a fix, like when I couldn't get it done the way I normally would get it done, it worked. And I really sat down and thought about it for a little while. I was like, do I really need to go to Home Depot today? I could just do this again tomorrow. And I was like, you know what? I'd rather not have to just, all I kept thinking about was like, my daughters are going to see this and then want to take whiteboard or take, the dry erase markers into the tub. And I was just like, no, this is going to create a whole new problem. I'm just going to go out to the store and get a new one.
So, Rishi, how much time can you take off of work to like play gigs? I don't think I'd be able to take off more than a week at a time. Maybe even less now, because I started a new role at the same company and I'm just way busier than I was before.
Yeah, I think it would probably be, about like 2-3 weeks, something like that. And I think it's pretty difficult in terms of like the time zone too. So like if we did like a West Coast tour, for example, like I could work a little bit, but it's like 8 hours difference or whatever. So that would make it a little harder.
Did you guys have to go into an office before this whole pandemic broke?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so that, man, you guys must be happy that there's no more of that, right?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's just the flexibility.
I could work remotely even before the pandemic, but now, I don't know, there's much less travel. I haven't had to do as much travel, and I make my own schedule. I'm on like an insane schedule. I get up and start working, or I eat breakfast at noon, I eat lunch at like 4. I'm like all fucked up.
That's the life. That's the dream right there.
Yeah, it's and you're an adult. You can make your own decisions. You can.
I don't have to adhere to this lunch at noon, dinner at 5 bullshit. Well, gentlemen, I want to thank you both for coming on the show. Chris, it was really nice to meet you and speak with you. Rishi, it's always a pleasure. We really dig the music that you guys are working on, and we're looking forward to the new project together. And I hope when and if the world gets back to normal and bands can tour again, that, we can come out and see you and say hello.
Yeah, of course. It'd be nice. It'd be amazing to meet you guys in person. And hopefully Signal Hill can also get that like Northeast tour scheduled too, so we can see you in New York at least. And I don't know. We'll figure something out. But yeah, thanks again for having us on. And it's really nice to chat with you guys.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us. I can't wait till we can play in New York, and then we'll just go hang out.
There you have it, folks. Sky is all right. Great to talk to Rishi again. Nice to meet Chris. Nice people, excellent people, good times. I like this because we get to talk to our favorite musicians. We're meeting new people all the time. This is like my Monday night moral boost, because up until this past Sunday, that would be my Sunday night morals crumbled into the ground and ground into the dirt. And then Monday I'd feel bad all day. And then Monday night we do the podcast and I feel better. But Tommy, as I was talking to you about earlier, I've made some adjustments and I think things are going to be better now.
I think so too. I think, and this goes back to the last episode. I think, people aren't going to know about this because we did talk about Jim with Jim off the air about this. But Jim Ward gave some really, really excellent advice. And I think it's nice to hear you kind of take it to heart and be like, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and make this decision and I'm going to stick with it. So for me, that feels like victory.
I listened to everything he said, and I didn't at first. And then as the days went by, I went and just listened to everything that he said. I'm going to call Jim and tell him he's my dad now.
I always think about, I had a student a long time ago, but they really loved the negative attention you would give them when they misbehaved in class.
Yes.
And their behavior wasn't like outlandish. Like they weren't like doing anything that was like seriously disrupting the class. It was just it was like an annoyance to me. And finally, I just kind of trained myself and the kids to just ignore their behavior, and it went away. It just magically disappeared because they weren't getting the attention that they wanted from it. Like they would do something and then get a reaction, not only from the class, but from me. And they were like, look, I got him mad again. And it was just like, all right, I'm just not even going to care. I'm just going to keep going and teaching the lesson like normal. And the kids that are paying attention and doing the work.
It's like that Simpsons episode, the Treehouse of Horrors.
Just don't look. Just don't look. Yep.
Yes. It's such a valuable life lesson. I come back to that all the time.
It does. It has Paul Anka's guarantee too. So fucking A. If somebody listens to this show and they haven't watched The Simpsons,
they hate us.
They fucking are like, what is this? They constantly are like, why does Tommy bring this stuff up? Or why does he say random things? Like, I don't understand any of it. And for those listeners,
I think
apologize.
that, and I'm on the show. Should I move back to the Philly area?
This is my thing. I love when you're here because, like when we get to spend time together, it's funny. Like it's just us making fun of things, us teasing people, us giving each other a hard time, having deep conversations, enjoying each other's company. So I would more than anything else love you to come back, but make a decision based on what's best for you, man. Because at this point, like you've invested a lot of time and effort to create a new life in New York. And I think you owe it that. Like, give it that time. Like, I know right now you're like, fuck it, man. Like, things don't seem right, and you want to, walk away from it. But
yes.
I don't think that's the answer now. Maybe I'd say I'd reevaluate in 6 months. I'd look at it in 6 months and go, where do I really feel? Like, do I stand with this?
I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna move this year in New York still, and I'm going to live in a new apartment for a year and then see how things are going. Because, I think things are just uncomfortable right now, but I don't think they'll be that way forever. Because I've been here before. In 2018, I had nothing. I had no friends. I had nothing to do. I had nowhere to go. And I became completely solitary, but in a way that was sufficient. I would get out of the house and see people a couple times a week for, a thing I'm involved with. I would occasionally hang out with friends. And I just got into gaming. Like I had this whole scheduled life for myself during the week. And then I got into the acting class, and then that became my focus. I was still doing the band kind of, but the band fell apart. And then I got into the acting class, and then I was going to that every week, and then we were working on that a lot to do the play. So I built up a life for myself from nothing. Yeah. And then I made a couple new friends, and in that new friend circle is how I met my ex. And then that was a thing, so I'm kind of back to square one where I don't know exactly what's going on or what to do. But I've been here before. So I think I just need to take it day by day and see what comes up.
I always think of, I saw this a long time ago, but it was like a pie chart. And it was like a pie chart, like there's actually no chart in the first. It's just a circle all the way covered in. And it's like, at the moment, this is what it seemed like. And like the little block, like the little legend that tells you what the color means. It says, This is the end of the world. And then it's like what it seems like now. And it's like a little tiny sliver of the pie chart is that pink thing. And then the rest of it says, this was a lesson to be learned and move on from. Like, we think things in the moment are like, this is the fucking most devastating thing in the world. And then you look back at it and especially after some time and some contemplation and really spending time thinking about it, it's not the end of the world. It's another thing that's happened in your life that you can learn from and move on.
Yeah, because when this happened, well, not this exact thing, but something similar happened 2 years ago. And back then, it felt like the worst thing in the world. And I look back on it now, and I'm like, yeah, it was bad, but I moved on to better stuff. Things got much better. And I think that can happen again.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
What's that? You remember that movie with Tom Cruise, Vanilla Sky?
Yeah.
There's a point in that movie where Penelope Cruz looks at him and she goes, "That's the beautiful thing about life. Every passing moment is a chance to turn it all around."
That's beautiful.
It is. And I think that's the nice part about like with stuff like this. It's, it's people's redemption. It's your life and it's your way of looking. A lot of it comes down to perspective. If you look at it one way and think about it as devastating and think about it as life altering, and it's like, it can be, or not even can be, it will be. Like, you manifest shit like that. We've talked about this before. I'm not the most religious person in the world, but I think there is something out there that kind of has guiding principles that does help us kind of make sense of what's around us. And I think one of the things that we can really do is think like, yeah, this is my life. It's happening. This thing happened to me. I can either let it define me or I can use this as a learning experience and move on.
Yeah, because before, what I was referencing a couple years ago, I was not finding any connection with the people I was around at all. And I was very disappointed by that. And so I left and, started hanging around new people. And that's where I found the real connection. So I think about that like some kind of, like maybe I was guided from here to there to experience something new and better, even though the new and better ended up being a disaster to a degree. But it's not all doom and gloom. I've got friends. I've got people on my side. I've got people supporting me. It's just difficult.
I always wish you could rent a dog.
Yeah.
Can you, that's what
No, you know what? I want 2 cats.
Okay.
I can't have them here, though.
Oh.
Yeah, they're forbidden.
I don't like foreboding. I don't like cats.
Well, you need to get your shit together.
I just, what I don't like about cat, and this is something that like everybody that likes cats is going to be like, well, that's totally fixable. I don't like when cat's personality is that like aloof kind of like, I'm just going to spend my time over here, or like the cat comes over to you and it's like, oh, cool, I'm going to pet you now. And then for some reason, just out of nowhere, it fucking bites you or like bats at you. I'm like, what the hell is this? I'm showing you affection. Do you not understand what's happening right now? Like that bugs me. But also there's something to be said. Like, I forgot to tell you this. And this is something that is kind of an update. You remember the dog I told you my dog was really sick.
Yes.
It was, so she has chronic pulmonary obstructive disorder, or COPD. And it's basically from old age. And they put her on a medicine, and she has not been coughing or wheezing or doing anything that indicates that she's having any issues breathing at all. And in fact, I took her for a really, really long walk on Saturday with Eleanor, and it was unbelievable. I haven't taken her on a walk for more than a mile or 2 in a long time. And we went out for like 3.5, 4 miles. And dude, she was amazing. Cause I kept going like, oh, we'll keep staying near the house. So if she's like starts to like cough or starts to show that she's kind of like slowed down, like, we can make our way back home in a couple minutes. Like, we just kept getting further and further away. And I was like, fuck, dude, this dog is doing great. Like, I brought a bottle of water with me. She like drank water. She wanted to go again. Like, she was like excited to continue walking. And, for a 12-year-old dog, when somebody says like, hey, my dog's having trouble breathing and she's 12, you're like, oh no.
Well, that's really good news because I was worried. I love that dog.
Dude, she rules so much. And it's like, I really feel bad now is she is getting older and the girls are very attached to her. Like the dog sleeps in their bed some nights, like sleeps with them all night. And it's like, I have been kind of slowly being like, hey, Bailey's not going to be around forever. So make sure we pay attention to her. And it's like, cause there's days where it's easy to ignore her because she's older and she doesn't like, if you don't engage with her, she will spend a lot of time just like kind of laying around and sleeping. But like my daughters are now like, when they get up to go outside and play, they're like, somebody go get the dog, like, bring the dog outside and play with them. And it's really nice. Cause, she feels like she's part of the pack and she feels like, she's wanted and loved. And then the only thing I always get concerned about is when she gets sick and it's like, if she's uncomfortable, like if she's in pain, I don't want to ever like, she's such a nice, sweet girl. I don't want to ever have to have her feel pain, and I'm like,
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
But it makes me nervous.
Well, listen, let's cover some show business here. We need 5-star Apple Podcast reviews because some of you smart Alex have been giving us 3 and 1-star reviews. So our overall rating out of 5 is a 4.5 right now. We need to get that up to 5 or closer to 5. So if you like the show and you listen to us, go into your Apple Podcasts app, give us a 5-star review. You don't even have... We would like you to write a review too, because we'll read it on the air, and I don't know, that's entertaining for us at least. But give us 5 stars. Come on, we're trying here. We're doing our best, right?
Some days.
Some days.
There's some days where I come on and I'm like, I think this is one of the things that I love about this show is it's such a break from my normal routine of like teaching and like being a dad. And I love coming down here and talking about crazy stuff and swearing freely and
talking about how Andrew Dice Clay drums, which I still don't believe.
I'm a drummer. I play the drums.
I'm over here now playing the drums.
Look, look, the China hat was over here. The China's over here. Now it's over here.
We're going to have to work on that impression.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good. It's not. I apologize for that one.
If we didn't have this podcast now, I'd be completely screwed.
Oh,
I'd have nothing to do.
I think you would jump headlong into gaming. I think that's where you would go.
You know what? I'm kind of burned out on that now. Like the first couple months of being single, I was really into it. And I would wake up on Saturday and play. There was one day I woke up on Saturday and played from 9 a.m. till 11 o'clock at night, I think.
That's I was going to ask you, that game you were saying you're like one of the older games you got into, and I remember a lot of people talking about it. Maybe it was high school or college. Everquest?
Yeah.
So is that like it's a role-playing game?
Yeah.
But there's no ending to the game. There's no like bosses to beat. It's just like you go on adventures and do whatever you want.
There is bosses. It's a very large open world game with a lot of players. And there's big bosses. There's endless stuff to do.
What level are you?
45 or 46.
Jesus.
I never got a character to level 60 before. I barely play it anymore.
And that's the highest, right? 60 is the highest?
For the server I'm on, yeah.
Okay.
But I just want to get a character to 60, and then I'm probably not going to play it anymore. It's like, I don't know, it's just something I want to do.
That was a big trend on eBay for a while when I first started doing eBay, 15 years ago. People selling their EverQuest characters. Yeah,
you could make serious money off of it back in the day. It's not, it's kind of outdated now. I think World of Warcraft and maybe other games overtook it.
Yeah.
But I like to play it. Like the first time I played it again and went to some of the old places I hadn't been to in 20 years, it was like overwhelming in a good way.
Like stepping into a time capsule and being kind of enamored with what's going on around you. You're like, oh my God, I forgot about this.
It was incredible. And I've gotten to see all these places that I've never seen before. And, I jump on and I try to group with people. And if no one's on, then I just move on to something else. Because it's not that fun to play by yourself. I
would see myself doing like not cool stuff on there. Like intentionally messing things up. Like just to be like...
Well, you can get in trouble for that,
Really?
Yeah. You can get reported.
That was do you remember that video that was real popular there for a while? What was it, that Leroy Jenkins? And it was like that these guys like had, spent all this time getting ready for this fucking like ridiculous siege or whatever. And
yeah, and that guy just runs in and
just fucking barges in and fucks it all up.
Yeah.
That's funny to me. I don't know. I know it's a shitty thing to laugh at, but it's funny.
No, that's funny. That's funny. I watched that again recently. That was good. But yeah, well, I guess that's it for this week. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody who listens to us. I'm very grateful today that we have this podcast because it takes up a lot of my time, and that's exactly what I need right now. And Tommy, I want to thank you for standing by me. Tommy, I know that you will stand by me no matter what.
Yeah, because I don't give a shit. My thing is
Good.
like, you've been my friend since I was little. I always think about I've been friends with you longer than we were into music. Like when we met each other, we were 16 years old.
Yeah.
We're both 39 now.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's a little scary, right?
That's
Like,
fucked up.
and it's also, I think it speaks volumes about like the people that end up spending the most time in your life, and the people that you enjoy spending that time with and go out of your way to spend time with. They're the people that, I hate to like get like, real deep about this, but those are the people that'll be at your funeral. Those are the people that'll be at the marks of your life, your wedding, the people that'll be there when, when shit goes down and things aren't good and you need help. Like those are the people you turn to. And I'm glad I have you too, man, because if this was just, I felt like I've lost connection with a lot of things around music, and this helps me reconnect with a lot of the things that I felt like were just missing in my life. I miss that connection. I miss talking about music. I miss sharing old stories. And I think this allows me to spend time with you and also, have an outlet to kind of be creative with stuff.
Yeah, man. This is our thing. And next week, we are back with a brand new guest. And it's going to be exciting, so strap in.
My mother.
Well, we are going to talk. We're definitely talking to Kelly. And perhaps we're going to talk to your mom, too, to find out what happened.
Do a post-mortem on why my childhood was so fucked.
All right. So that's it. Thanks, everybody, for listening. And until next time.